Live for the 221, man. It's hood politics. Can I get in, man? What's up? What's up? Can I get clap? Can I get some audience participation? All right, live for the 221. You know what it is. It's your boy Black Chin, man. Hood politics in the building, man. And again, I'm thanking everybody, man, who participated in the Players Ball, man. Listen, the energy was dope. It was beautiful. Thank you, everyone, man. And again, I wanna always, man, thank Mr. Billy Beck. Again, part of that was honoring him, man, and giving him his Lifetime Achievement Award from the music community in Youngstown, Ohio. Listen, that was a dope moment for me, man, and and I hope everybody else can appreciate it. But man, doing nothing better than man having the legendary Kokane in the building. Man, listen, me and Kokane, man, we got a 25-year friendship, man. And a lot of times I know people be like, damn, yeah, that's my partner, like that's bro, man. Like I have probably one of the longest friendships I'd had in my life, man. Was that brother right there, man. And so shouts out, man. Listen, Kokane rock. He did what he do. I make a little funny joke. I said if George Clinton and Boosie had a baby, it'd be Kokane. I'm telling you. That's like, dude, man, he really blessed the stage. Shouts out to Kia Rich. Shouts out to Mr. Murder. Shouts out to my niece Pooh Notice. You did your thing. I'm proud of you, man. Also, man, shouts out to Aaliyah. Thank you, Aaliyah. Please, I appreciate everybody, man. Too Fly. That's my partner, That's, Batman and Robin right there, man. Me and Too Fly, man. Too Fly. Thank you, everybody. Stan B. Shouts out everybody, who participated, man. Shouts out Ivy Rose. Thank you. My team, Ivy Rose, my little brother T-Roy, my little brother Bullet, man. Shouts out everybody who helped me. My brother Marlon, man, and his wife Tina, man. Thank you, everybody. You did a dope job. Shouts out TJ. Shouts out JP. Shouts out Elbow, man. Listen, 221 was dope. And you know what I've seen before in my career, the after party be liver than the actual concert. Sometimes it's just like that. And we kicked it, man. Kokane and Propane did that. Like they went crazy, man. Like that was some, like really, people don't even understand what that was a blessing that was to get the opportunity to see Kokane just come in and man and just rock this, like we his family. Like, like it was dope, man. It was a dope moment, man. You know what I'm saying, for everybody, man. And I appreciate everybody. But listen, man, I got a surprise because, man, I couldn't get my partner come to my city and not getting to come on the platform. So, without further ado, man, listen, I want to introduce my partner, Mr. Kokane. Let's go. Woo! Thank you, man, brother, man. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Listen, bro, you did your thing last night, man.
Smooth,
man. And see, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, appreciate you coming on the platform, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming on the platform. Listen, man. Last night was dope.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Yeah.
People think it's about a crowd. I don't follow big crowds.
Right.
I like small, elite, intimate, and that was dope.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Like,
felt like a family gathering. It was cool.
And welcome home.
Yeah.
One of the followers had commented that. Said, man, tell Coke to welcome home.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
home, my brother.
Yes, sir. This is my
Youngstown,
second home.
yeah.
Yes,
I think we all got a second home, man. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
we all got a second home. I think Houston my second home. I love that one. I lived in Houston, and that was like the freest I felt in my life, man.
Right.
It was dope. So, and you come out here, look, you don't see us riding no security or nothing. Because guess what? We don't move like that. And it's like, it's been like that since 1997.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Youngstown is, it's different from Cali, different from New York, other parts of the surrounding states. And one thing about it, since the OH9 is part of the architect's home,
right?
And a lot of, Mill Creek Park, those cats. It's just a perfect, it's a perfect place to plant the seeds. The economy here is pretty cool compared to California. It's sky high. And 25 years ago, when we made our mark, we were doing some incredible things, not just for ourselves, but for the community. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about the Youngstown thing. is that, Mobtown City is a combination of players and hustlers. Most ladies out there really getting it out there.
Right.
And, when government comes in and legislation comes in, it kind of downplays, things that are happening. But things come back full circle again. So you look back 25 years and people are still giving up the funk, still looking for places to, to relax and have some good entertainment. And that's one of the things that you provided.
Right.
And we've been close.
Quality entertainment.
We've been close like super glue.
Yeah, man.
We always talk, when you was on your vacation.
Right. Say,
we always talked and said, man, when you get out, we're going to do it right. We're going to bring entertainment, positivity back to the community of Youngstown. Because back when we was doing our stuff, man, Youngstown was a hot spot.
Yeah, it was.
So with that being said, it just feels good to come back to the areas that mean most to me.
Man, listen. Your music, let's get to the first topic of music. Right. Let me tell you something. Your music influenced this city. I remember we got a dude in our city, legendary dude, legendary hustler, legendary gangster named Danny Trevathan. Right. And I think like the first time I heard one of your songs, he coming down Elm Street. I'm an Elm Street dude. Right. So Elm Street is the vein on one of the parts of the north side. Right. So I'm always on, I'm always like, I was out there like a mailbox. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And he come through, man, romping with 812s, man, bumping that baking soda free or this too. Oh man, listen, I'm telling you, we used to listen to your music, man, and it was so crazy because this is how you tell you when God working. I got my number 1 and 2 favorite rappers, Tupac and Kokane.
Wow, man. Thanks, man.
And then
imagine
being a young 16, 17-year-old, a fan of this man's music, and then he become one of your best friends. Right. That's God, man.
Oh, that's God.
That's God.
We're a firm believer in what the man upstairs do. I tell everybody, God is the biggest gangster.
You better say it. Honcho.
God is the biggest gangster.
Honcho.
And it's good that he whoop your ass.
Yes, sir.
So you can, come back and he rebuilt you.
He had to refine me. Let me see. What a lot of men, when you chasing greatness, everybody keeps their eye on the end result of being great or doing something great. But it's a process that every man must suffer on their path to greatness. Right. I'm no different than any other man. So that's why I can take my lumps, take my process, and still walk with my head high and chest out and loud, live my life out loud. Right. Because I understand that whatever happened, it didn't don't define me. Right. And I try to teach that because a lot of times I see so many of us, especially in this creative space, rappers, musicians, when you're not around your people, your tribe, all your environment will kill your creativity, your grind, you know what I mean? If you ain't around, you know what I mean? Right. And that's something that I want to create is just even a conversation of the creatives, the music, the artists, the people in this community. Like I spoke on with Mr. Beck, organizing and giving a spotlight to our community because people, their talent is dying under a dim light. Right. So I want to put a spotlight on this city. So that's why I'm trying to empower artists, give them access to guys like you. Right. Like we just did, mentoring a young man. You don't know how that little boy can be the next, God knows who. And here, that moment in that parking lot, getting a chance to talk to the legendary Kokane could have changed his whole trajectory of his music career. Right. Because remember his dad's, he's having problems trying to advise him on his career. Right. And you come along and you really solidify what was already being told to him, so now he can move in that direction. Right. And that's what I'm trying to do is provide. That's what this platform is about. It's not about, me. It's about giving a voice, giving a space to the creatives. Right. That street shit, that non-positive shit, there's no place for it in what we try to do.
You can see what's going down. You can see what's going down in California.
Right. I want to get to that.
The game ain't the same no more.
Say less.
You got killers that are snitches.
Right.
It's just flip flop. You know what I'm saying? And the best thing you can do is go legit. You know what I'm saying?
Smart
and they can learn from experiences.
Is the new gangster.
Yeah, that's the new gangster handling.
Listen, that ain't like just some slick, cute saying. Smart is the new gangster, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Gangster ain't gangster no more, man.
Nah.
You can't, like, it's no honor in it on no sides of it. And that's the problem, you know. Speaking of, you know, what's going on the West Coast, man. How do you feel about? No, let me ask you this first, because I've been wanting to ask you. I've been saving this question for this moment. Out of your many, many years embedded in the West Coast music scene, culture, I know, you know, man, I've been out there with you. We going to people's houses, like, you know, recording and doing stuff. So I know you was like you were in the trenches in the music scene. Mm-hmm. How did you avoid? Really, how do you avoid the politics?
I mean, you got to get away from your environment. You know what I'm saying? That means mentally, spiritually, and physically. You know what I mean? Because, you know, a lot of things you act out is according to your environment. And people are like vampire stealers. You know, they steal your energy.
Man.
And you got to go through a lot of that, you know, mistrust and different other things. You got to go through a lot of envy.
Right.
And different other things. You always want to be able to learn from people that have already done it.
Yeah, that's lost. That's a lost art, man.
Yeah,
that's a lost art, bro. Of learning. People think
it ain't like that for white.
You know what people think? Yeah, our culture,
like
our culture. You know, people think that if you failed, I can't learn nothing from you.
Right.
That's like literally the consensus. And I'll tell you something. I've learned more from my failures and the failures of the genius of life is learning from the failures of others. Absolutely. Watching other men fall and not saying, "Oh, I'm gonna ride the bull this time," and making the same mistake, repeated mistake that all these men make. You know, and that's something I had to learn. You know, I had to sit down for 19 years of my life because I refused to take the lesson. You know what I mean? Yeah. Personally, that I watched other men make, great men.
Well, the hard head makes it so hard.
Real simple, old folks' wisdom. Yeah. Hard head makes it soft ass.
We don't walk the yards and all that. And
oh yeah.
The good thing about it, what makes you so different? Same set of circumstances you dealt with somebody else. I mean, from being, you know, lifers to being in the pine box. But why are you free? Why are you this? Right. It's because God gave you a chance
to go ahead
and tell your testimony.
He showed me.
Yeah, and inspire others. All we hear at the end of the day through music, through funk, through cooking, through just whatever you have, businesses, all that is just a footstool and a catalyst to inspire other people.
Right. You know, Perry Belafonte, man, got a beautiful quote, man. And he said, if you want to know and hear the thoughts and hearts of a generation, listen to the music. Yeah. And they tell you right now, our music, listen to the music. And that's good and for good and bad. And that's why I understand, I don't identify with this generation as the way most people do, because I understand them.
Right. I mean, we were once hard-headed. Yeah. You got to think about it.
And so I'm not one of those older dudes who, you should have, nah, man, because I get it. I was angry at one point in time, too. You know, I was dealing with things, traumas and stuff I had no clue about. Right. Didn't even understand, so I get it. So that's why I don't judge. I collaborate. You know, that's why my door is always open, man. I tell you guys, man. But I want to make another point, too, man. The music industry has considerably changed. Mm-hmm. Now, is it true you have 6,000 features?
No, not 6,000. It's a little bit over 4,385.
4,385
all the way from A-list artists to, independent artists.
You got a song with Puffy.
Yeah.
Was that on a No Way Out album?
The Saga Continues.
The Saga Continues album.
It was a song ironically called I'm Lonely. I'm all by myself.
The Saga Continues album, I'm Lonely. Okay. Wow, I thought it. All right. You got a song with George Clinton.
Of course. George Clinton, Bootsy Collins, Zap.
Oh man.
Larry Blackman, Cameo. just when you look up, it's so much content, man. You wouldn't believe it unless you looked up because it's documented.
What about all those songs you and Nate Dogg had, man?
I
watched y'all record
some
like
of those,
2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, you was there.
Yeah.
Some of the songs are put up. Some of the songs is in his catalog. I mean, bulked. You know what I mean? So hopefully those songs will come up. But we did some incredible stuff off. You know, he was on the East Siders Ghetto with me.
Right.
And,
that'd be dope. Can I ask you?
And Yuckmouth too. Ignorant. You know, a lot of people remember that song.
I remember it was that attempt to put you and Nate Dogg against each other. And, you know, media. And I love the way you two, I just watched y'all in the studio together. Man, y'all was so cold together, man.
Right.
And I love that, man. Right. I love that you never, bro. Man, I watched you go from situations to situations, and you more talented than everybody in the building.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you think so.
I know so. But I tell you, how you handle those situations is priceless. Right. Never messy, never no internet, never no cocaine said.
Right.
Ain't many dudes can say that, bro.
That's what they say.
You know?
I mean,
I appreciate that about you, man.
I'm just happy to, you know, come from a musical background from my father.
Let's talk about your father,
Jerry
man.
Buddy Long.
Jerry Buddy Long, man.
I want to make sure I touch on his Nate Dogg. And back in the days, you know, Nate Dogg and Snoop auditioned for Above the Law because Warren G brought them up to the studio. They were actually going to be Ruthless Records artists. See, I had a deal at that time with Ruthless Records.
Right.
And we created this style. Excuse me, that's a little incident. I always call it every fucking interview I do. Goddamn. But they know where the G-Funk sound came from because of Above the Law and Kokane created that.
G-Funk, right.
We didn't want to call ourselves Parliament Babies. So we call ourselves, you know, we gangsters with G. That's what we do with G-Funk gangster. And at that time, you know, Nate Dogg, Warren G, Snoop Dogg know with the sound because they were heavily influenced by the G-Funk sound. You can see years later. So the trip of it is, it was Death Row against Ruthless Records. And at that time...
Yeah, that was heated.
It was a real heated thing. And then we were enemies, you know, right after that. And then when I came to Doghouse, prior to coming to Doghouse, I went to Nate Dogg's house because Half did. His cousins of Nate Dogg.
Right. So
he took me to the house. The first thing Nate Dogg said, "Fuck you bring this nigga to my house for?" Oh. He was like, ain't nobody tripping, so we squashed up on and became good buddies. And the trip is, they used to try to compare us with each other, but I'm like, wait a minute. Nate Dogg is the silky soul of hip hop.
He's a singer. Yeah, you
can't compare him, which he had one style that worked for him, to Kokane, because Kokane is really like a George Clinton. He's a multi-faceted artist. But they used to compare us, and you was there. We used to sit back, tip on hand, and laugh at all.
It was weird. I'm like, damn, you know, but I love it. Like, y'all overcame it. Mm-hmm. Never, you know what I mean? Only you had to know. It was even, you know what I mean?
He stayed in Pomona.
Yeah. Right. So, you know,
that we became good buddies, you know, when the Doghouse, you know, Dre was working on the Chronic, because I already knew Dre. So what do you think about the, okay, let's I got to touch on this. One of the things that brought this whole, Players Ball about was one of our many conversations about music, about how Youngstown, I'm just going to say Youngstown, but Ohio influences West Coast sound. Of course.
And I remember I would argue with a lot of the homies about this and back your man about that sound is an Ohio sound. Funk is an Ohio, you know, that's our,
but,
you know.
But it's mixed in. You also got to keep in mind a lot of things, inspiration came from Motown. Motown was inspiration. But there was already people like Arcades doing shit.
They weren't funk per se.
Barcades doing shit and all that type of shit. Listen to. But then Ohio Players was doing the same thing. So when you think about it, and I'm gonna blow your mind with this.
Okay.
A lot of people, even George, even Bootsy Collins, because Bootsy discovered Zap. That's him playing on the shit. You didn't know that. Right?
They say, you ever hear the story? I heard George say he discovered Roger.
Yeah, well, both of them really.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He said, "Man, I was walking down the alley and heard some
well,
little dude in a garage doing it." He said, "Man, who in there?"
Yeah, in retrospect to that, of course. But I'm saying, when Bootsy came, he was playing on all those projects.
Right? Yeah, definitely.
You didn't hear George on I don't think so, on Roger and Zap shit. No, I don't think so. But
all of them,
you're Bootsy on it, right? So basically, the whole Parliament. But then George said it himself. He said, we were inspired by the Funk Brothers from Motown. My dad was in charge of the Funk Brothers.
Right.
Jerry Long.
Right.
All that music from Just My Imagination. Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Right.
String progression. That's Jerry Buddy Long singing I'm Jerry Jr.
Right.
So
you got rich heritage.
It's a lot. It's a trip when you come back. Me and George always talk about that. It's a trip when they come back. It's like, they, from Uncle Willie Hutch to my father, from James Brown, they were inspired what you call funk.
Yeah, everybody took their piece
you see what I'm saying?
And built their,
when George and Bootsy and all them came along, George was a hairdresser back then, hooking up shit. And he had the zany ideas to, do this.
Right.
It was a collection of shit from Gary Schneider to Catfish to Bernie Morrell, rest in peace. Them were great cats, you know what I mean? Right. But everybody get it from somewhere. They were inspired by the Funk Brothers in Motown. And that's on record.
I believe, inspiration isn't supposed to be hauled.
Right.
It's supposed to be shared. And every generation is inspired and they build on it.
Right.
One generation stands on the shoulders of the other, the one before.
It's called tribal.
Yeah, and that's with music, really. Now with the music, we were just listening to a young man who, of course, young guy, with 19, 20 years old. No, 16. I'm sorry. 16 years old. Very talented young man. The music today, and I'm not one of them older guys. I love what these guys doing. I fuck with them, all of them, man. I love Drez and Sean. I mess with, Doug. I mess with, I got my favorites, Gates. These guys, they got what they doing. And I hate when you try to compare the genres or the time periods by better. It's different. It's not the music. What we listen to is and what they listen to is one is not better than the other. It's different.
Right.
Now, one of them I say has a lower vibration, and that's another conversation as far as what it does and speaks. Because I grew up on Me Against the World. I grew up on Baking Soda Free, Coke, and Funk Upon a Rhyme. I grew up on Uncle Sam's Curse. Like, these songs really helped me through a tough time in my life. Like, I can tell you some stories in this, out there in the trenches, and I'm listening to, you know what I'm saying? Your music. And so I know how the music influenced me. So I also understand how the music, funny plug. The other day I was listening to one of your songs and a quote about you have 100 followers and your shit goes to the top. Now you wrote that song in what, 1997?
Oh yeah.
Didn't have followers in 1997. So
a lot of shit was prophetic, man. It's amazing how the universe or God used you. And then
that's
years
crazy.
Later you'll say something. I'm sure all of us can. And then it comes to fruition, like, wow. You know what I mean?
Where's that power? And that's and that what?
That's as a culture, we all have that power,
yes.
But we lost it along the way, and mostly perpetuate low vibrations out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when a person is always positive, and a person is always effect. Yeah. Person always giving, they're in a high vibration. The person always complaining and blaming everybody else except accountability in the low vibration stage. Right. And it's like a lot of our brothers are dealing, perpetuating things from the low vibration.
In the music, stage,
into the music. But the good thing about it, everything comes around because according to our generation and their generation, I don't dare say your generation is better than ours or ours is this. All I'm saying is that we have substance in our and a balance in our music that means you can do a Training Day movie and do a Malcolm X movie and it still be popular. The thing of it is, when the internet came in, it ushered in weirdos, more low vibrational things, more frequencies out there that really, was feeding these kids. And show me where the hood is at, I'll show you where music is at.
Right.
That's why you had more killings. That's why people was popping more perks. Back in our generation, it wasn't cool to use drugs.
I grew up on drug dealer music.
Yeah.
This generation grew up on drug user music.
Yeah. And it's like it's an acceptance.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm trying to get to is that everything come back around.
Say yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So people are seeing what's going on in our government.
I hope so.
There's a crack in office that's really rewriting history right now. Everybody's going around celebrating like at the Pinocchio parade, but they turning into jackasses. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? Us as a culture, and I will say this because we talk, us as a culture, we got to be able to put a balance in our music because music is one of the biggest forms to influence people. It's a reason why when we were growing up, I'll say this, reason why we were growing up, we didn't know. We didn't call it gangster rap, bro. We call it reality rap. Right. But then there were corporations that came in from the AT&Ts to all kind of people. And, just a lot of motherfuckers.
Well, once you put the money in it, now it gets nefarious.
I'm trying to make a point.
Yeah.
My point is this. They sat down and said, how can we feed these private corporations? I know what I'm talking about because I was with these records.
Right.
I know what's going on. And there's certain things I plead the fifth. I'm only skinning on the top like a flat rock on the lake in my conversation.
Say that.
Because, it is what it is. And all I'm saying is this. Now we're getting back to the point to where we're waking up and wising up. And we need to go ahead and articulate music that's going to help build people up. Right. Not just continue to destroy motherfuckers.
That's right.
But at the same time, this is an entertainment business. I ain't trying to say the long foundation, bro. All I'm trying to tell you is that, hey, you can do a Training Day movie, you can do a Malcolm X movie. Whatever your creativity it is, but put some medicine in the food sometime. Right. You're right. I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to spit that out.
Say that,
for all the youngsters out there, because I've been doing it for 35 years, and I done seen it all, bro.
Imagine having,
you know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, most of these people, most of the average person won't do nothing for 35 years, let alone have a music career. And that's dope, and you still at it, man. Boss players, man. Boss players, that's really what also sparked this Players Ball thing. When he sent Boss Players to me, man, I was blown away. And so I called him immediately, and I said, man, that song, man, that's young. I'm just talking. I always advocate for the city everywhere I go. So he said, man, you know what? We need to do the video. We need to shoot the video. I said, man, you know what? Let's make that happen. And, man, listen, it turned into this event, and I'm grateful, man. My brother, thank you, man. The city.
I'm grateful, man. That Terry, listen to me, and I'm talking to you. This brother had paid the cost for y'all to be the boss. He's bringing entertainment back, him and his people. You know what I mean? It's about a positive vibe, and y'all need to support the brother. I support the brother. I'm a legend, the most featured artist on the planet, goddammit. And I come to this brother and say, hey, man, your vision, your intellect, your experience, your everything you have is really going to resonate with not just us older generation, because we're still young. But I'm talking about the young
YNs, man. I mess with the YNs, man. I love my YNs. I'm going to tell you, man.
Yeah. I just want to tell you, let me tell you. Right. I appreciate you bringing me out here again. We reconnected.
Yes, sir.
The love is real. The people is real. And the catfish is motherfucking good. That's what it is.
Shout out to my niece, man. She fried, man. Cooking some catfish, man.
Yeah, so.
Shout out to my niece, Kimmy.
And then I got a new project out.
Okay, yeah, man. Talk about the new project.
Well, the project is called The Funky the Richest Dr. Copenstein.
Right.
It's some funky shit.
Okay.
I learned from my peers, from Ohio players, to Parliament Funkadelic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 3-album trilogy. It takes you on
3 albums. Okay.
Yes, 3 albums, 37 songs, almost 4 albums, and it's something that that you can only get at my district, at my own
Right.
website. Because y'all see how the streaming fuckery is.
Wise
I
it up.
tell everybody, go get your website, go get your LLC, start reading up on publishing and how to protect yourself, because the tech companies that rate all the artists. I don't care how big you are, how small.
Yeah.
Learn to build up your
Listen.
subscriptions on your own personal website, because the most powerful thing is direct marketing. You know, if my project came out called The Funkin' Adventures of Dr. Kokane. This is the first time everybody hearing it. When I sold 22,000 units times $100 a pop, and 80 is selling for on the digital. So do the math on that. Now, when you go on the streaming companies and continue to put your shit down on there, you're still a slave.
They're going to give you fees out the wazoo to take your money.
So you have to learn how to, like dope, you got to learn how to wean yourself off the streaming fuckery. Use them, play the devil's advocate. Use them for what it's worth.
Right.
But then once you start establishing people,
pull your stuff back from them.
And because AI can't replace this.
Right.
This is tangible.
Right.
You see this?
Right.
This is tangible. Tangible's still winning, y'all.
Yeah, you can't. That's
so
right.
build up
That's
your
right.
website, build up your stuff. Content is king.
Content.
And you're talking to the king of content right now. You feel me? Yes. Build it all up. And at the same time, you got to stay focused, man.
I don't care how good your music is. I listen to there's some dope artists around here. But y'all don't, and I tell them all when they, we have a conversation about music, man, you got to do content. Every song should have 10 pieces of content.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is 30-second clips. You could do 3 minutes and then chop it up into 30-second clips. And that's 10 pieces of content. But you got to do content and not some big production, impromptu stuff. It shows anything that's going to highlight your talent. Anything that's going to be your talent, you know what I mean? I can see somebody just sitting on the porch. I had a young man, he got a song that I love, and I said, man, you should do an acapella with like a guitar, with a string guitar. That would kill it,
right.
And it would be a dope visual,
right.
Right. And it's stuff like that. You don't got to spend a lot of money. You got to be creative.
Nah.
You
got days of big budgets.
Yeah, that's done.
Nigga, we spent, Eazy-E spent $2 million on a video we did that got banned off MTV.
I remember with the sniper.
Nigga walked down buildings. Also,
I remember.
And the motherfucking cast was in there, was from the Terminator.
Right.
Police cops and all that. They banned that shit. But now, you can take your phone out. You ain't got to spend hardly no money on your shit and become viral overnight.
All right, hold on. Because I have knockdown, drag out arguments with artists about this. So I want to be careful of what you just said. Mm-hmm. You don't have to pay for... Now, let's talk about that because JP brought that up and I said I'm going to make that a question, and I'm glad you went that route.
Right.
Because I'm an advocate of running paid, like content, but not just posting the content, but you got to run ads behind your content. You got to do... you got to do meta ads, you got to do Google ads, you got to do boost, different things. But you just don't do them randomly. You look at the numbers, you see what works, and whatever's getting the most traction, you invest in that more and push that, or create content that follows this in that same format. So if you just do a piece, you just chilling, and you freestyling, and it gets a lot of views, do another one, do a different one, change it up a little bit. And just repost it in a different, in the same format. But you got to spend money in your career in the beginning. Course. The belief that you don't. Now, here's one of the unique things with artists like you, because we up against the algorithm. The algorithm is
Well, let me break it down. Can I break it down?
Break it down.
When it comes to me, it's like I think like a rich, wealthy man. Wealthy people don't spend money. They have credit. They have this and that. Okay. Do you understand?
Right.
That's safe to say I've earned my stripes and worked my way to be in a certain position. But at the same time, learning, getting in that position again, and always constantly learning, I learned to follow the money, man. Follow the money, bro. When it comes to Facebook, it's cool to do the minimum. It's cool to do that, but have their things don't reach out to everybody. It can reach out to certain things, you know what I mean? And same thing with IG, Facebook on IG. IG is just nothing but a looky-loo situation.
Right.
I'll give you some game. The places where you win is off video games, Twitch, is off TikTok, and number one is YouTube ads. Because I spent money on Google ads, and the conversion rate and every other thing that went out there did not motherfucking add up.
Right.
And you know what? They control the algorithms. And they ain't got to tell you if it's illegal because that's a tech company.
Right.
It's not a music record company.
Right.
So if you join the forces, you can complain all day, but they're a fucking tech company. They're not going to give you your shit. That's why nobody is really winning off streaming because it's 0.0 whoop wop on the penny now. So back in the days when they used to rape you, they raping you they kicking you at insult to injury. And the reason why I say use your website so that way you can build things on your Google search engines and things. The best thing to do right now, unfortunately, but fortunately, is to simply get YouTube ads. I get YouTube ads.
Right.
But because and I'm not putting no extras on it. You see Kokane pop up on the hook every motherfucking week.
Right.
So I don't have to worry about that. That's taken care of now.
Right.
When you come
so you're benefiting from all your collaborations.
All my collaborations.
So what happened, guys, let me explain this real quick. Let's say you're not an established artist, you're working, you're doing your thing, and then you collaborate with an artist such as a Kokane who has hundreds of other collaborations. What that does is when your name, and the algorithm, now I'm not talking about popular opinion, I'm talking about what the algorithm does is when they mention their name, by default, it's going to mention your name.
Absolutely.
And it raises you up. And you utilize that momentum to raise your profile, build your following, build your fan base.
Absolutely.
Because you got these relationships or collaborations, it's going to help you. People think it's us against everybody. No, it's a collaboration. You need each other because when they mention them, just so happen by default, your name is going to come up in the algorithm.
Yeah.
So it's always good to do these things but you got to know how to do some targeting.
You got to be guilty by association.
Right.
If you like, you can look up Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and Kokane pop up.
Right.
Even if you're a new artist, the smartest, if you happen to get something done with a legend or whoever that's popular.
Right.
What it does is that you're able to go into a bank, but it's inside of Walmart. It's the same place.
Right. Gotcha.
So if they shooting at one, they shooting at everybody. My thing is, what I'm saying is, that's how you're able to utilize a lot of things.
Okay.
Only in that option. But then just take the regular route. Start building up ads. Take your tools and fuels. You know what I'm saying? Put some ads behind your YouTube shit, your YouTube videos.
Okay.
That's how a lot of motherfuckers grew up in the South.
Yeah.
They
run it up.
They run that shit up.
You start booking shows when you get paid 5, 10, 15, 20,000 a show. But it's all based on you have to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
So the idea that you can do it with listen, unless you just, and I tell anybody this, unless you just get lucky and get some viral piece of content or just some song out the gate that just do numbers, but that's like hitting the lotto.
It's different.
It's like hitting the lotto.
It's kind of like this. All sperm cells don't get to the egg.
Right. All sperm cells don't
get to the egg. It's
100
million shot up into the womb.
That's a hell of an analogy, bro.
It's 100 million womb. All sperm cells don't get to the egg. So if you feel like you at the egg, put your blood down, read a couple tutorials, how to protect your publishing. What are royalties? You got to go back to school. A lot of people don't like to read and go back to school. Like, some of the smartest motherfuckers I ever knew came from the prison systems. If you're just getting out of jail, doing all that shit, get a tutorial, read about it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
you can do exactly what you put your mind to. You know what I mean? But you got to be the sperm cell to say, all you 100 million motherfuckers in the back, squiggly wiggly, y'all playing. I'm getting to the motherfucking egg.
I went through that process coming home from prison, relearn and re-educate myself in this space. Podcasting, the digital marketing. I mean, like you say, I read thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of information because this shit is real complex, and it's hard. I get it, but hey guys, if this is what you want to do, If you're gonna choose to be in this industry, what you doing it for? Learn everything you can about it. Learn how to do targeting ads. Learn how to do optimization with your platforms. And like I said, stop relying on Facebook and Instagram and Snap so much. Start pulling your content off of those places and create your own personal website, because that's the future.
Oh, yeah.
That's the future. It's called digital real estate. It's called digital real estate, guys. I'm telling you. And how far your reach is determined how much digital real estate you own. Listen, it's another level. But I want to thank, man, listen, big bro. This ain't gonna be our first or our last time, man. And so, you know, I put you on the right side because you my right hand man. Like, bro, I appreciate you, all the wisdom, the assistance, man. You know, you've been family to me. 25 years, man. 25, 26 years we've been friends. You know what I'm saying, man? And
certain things I can't say.
I slept on this man's couch, man. You know. You know, when I go out not lazy, I don't go to the hotel, I go to my people's house, you know. So, you know, that's what it's like with us. And again, I appreciate you, bro, man. Hood Politics, man. Welcome to my first out of studio podcast. Man, thank everybody. Listen, like, subscribe, follow us, man. Follow the Buddy Boy Records. Also, and get the new album.
My website is www.budemusic.com. Make sure you subscribe. And not only you can get that, you can get the Buddy Boy Artist and the Kokane collection, because I got a pretty dope collection, man. Y'all need to
check it out, man. Listen, like, subscribe, follow me, Hood Politics, man. It's your boy Black Terry, man. Appreciate y'all.